Yo, YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy SalvationsElite. We're back with another video, guys, and as you guys can tell, I am standing today. My back's been hurting, so I thought, why not? I got the desk that can go up and down. May as well make use of it and stand up today. So, obviously, CDL Chicago was this weekend. A crazy, crazy event, and of course, as you guys saw, I mean, man, Scump knew what was coming. Scump knew it.
I shouldn't have talked all that shit to Crim, man. Now he's actually got me.
Not yet. Don't say it.
No, he's got me.
Obviously, Dallas Empire won the tournament. A big time, big statement from them. Crimsix had some, choice words to say after last event, saying the connection was terrible. They were lagging like crazy, really unprofessional, everything else. And then they come out at this event and they take it home. So let's go through some of these games and some of these teams and talk about it all. Let's get into it. So of course, going into this event, everyone expected Atlanta FaZe to be the heavy favorites. Basically, everyone had them, if not winning the event, being in the finals. And then it was a toss-up after that between like the Huntsmen, the Empire, maybe the Royal Ravens making a run, maybe LA OpTic making a run. And at the beginning of the event, Atlanta came out hot. Oh my goodness. Simp on Ozzy or Cave put up 50 kills. 50 to set the kills record so far in this game. Absolutely absurd stuff. Of course, he is the best player in the game, and again, he was showing it on Cave.
This is something majormaniak we've not seen in a while, and he was kind of the one on the stat sheet that really didn't shine. But we try and sort Miles' microphone out. You guys are gonna have to stick with me. He's laughing. I don't know whether you can hear it. I'm laughing, baby. Finds it funny. Simp finds a triple, Abizi finds one, and Dylan the only one to answer back here for the London Royal Ravens, but they're being outslayed heavily. Jerd, -10. We see Dylan as well, down by 8. Shawnee down by 3. The slaying is certainly in the hands of Simp. Oh my goodness, Simp pistols going down, and Simp 7 streak. Dead silence still popped. This man is a maniac, and a 60-point lead is looking good for FaZe. But
FaZe looked fantastic in his first match versus London. Again, London coming into this event with Shawnee as their replacement for Rated, a new squad, a new look, and they didn't look that bad. It's unfortunate for them. They had to play Atlanta, and then of course, lo and behold, they had to play the Huntsmen in the losers round, so they got eliminated by playing. Really unfortunate draw for them, but in the future, I'll be really excited to see how this London team shows up, because I think they're going to be pretty solid with this new roster moving forward. Moments like specifically where Scraps and Dylan looked like the Scraps and Dylan of Black Ops 4, and when they can get to that form and find that form again, that's when London are so good. So hopefully, for London's sake, they can get that figured out, and moving forward, they will be a nasty squad. So the next match of the weekend was the Surge versus Gorillas, and the Surge this whole weekend, they showed improvements. They showed that they were taking steps forward. I mean, they 3-0'd the Gorillas. Then moving forward, they played Dallas later on. They lost to Dallas 3-1, but they did look pretty good in some of those respawns, and it didn't look like they were completely lost in Search and Destroy. Then they went and beat the Gorillas again, so they beat the Gorillas twice, and then they played the Atlanta FaZe, and they won a round 11 Search and Destroy against FaZe, which is mind-blowing. I mean, I literally tweeted right after that. I'm like, yo, who would have thought that we would see a round 11 win from Seattle against FaZe? Like, bro, unreal. Obviously, I'll just show it to you guys right here. It was epic.
Down. The problem is they don't really have full control of the B site. majormaniak is over towards A. Has he called for the rotation? He may have done. Karma is top window. Octane spots the cross back. Karma could make the play. This honestly could come down to him just finding a freebie, but majormaniak reads it. Bomb should be planted just with 7 seconds, but now a 2 versus 3, and you see Seattle flying towards the bomb. They should find the final kill. Slack secures it. There's the double. There's the defuse. There's the Seattle Surge round 11 win.
But yeah, it was absolutely wild. I mean, mind-blowing that Seattle was able to pull that off against FaZe. Unfortunately, they ended up losing to them, but they got both of their wins this weekend against the LA Gorillas, who right now, unfortunately, still don't look like a team that is going to be a threat. I was really hoping that this new roster with Vivid, Spart, Blast, and everyone else would be able to make something happen, but Aqua hasn't looked nearly as good as he did at the beginning of the year. I mean, sure, Decimate and Blast have looked solid. Vivid and Spart have had their moments as well, but it's just not coming together as a squad. All the game modes look really inconsistent, and so they're debatably the worst team in the league right now, but I still have optimism that they can move forward and improve, but I'm not expecting anything big from the Gorillas anytime soon. So the third match of the day was the Empire versus OpTic match, and this was a really weird series. So basically, the Empire looked really good in the hardpoint at the start, and then in game 2, Arcitys peak, OpTic took it to the Empire, which is surprising considering how good the Empire's S&D has been mostly this whole year. OpTic beat them 6-1 on Arclov, so just smoked them. And then moving forward, it was a close dom, like 155-150, and then a competitive hardpoint, 250-208 on Hackney. So OpTic end up going down, and Dallas looked really, really, really good in the first series. So we'll talk more, of course, about Dallas in a second here. But for OpTic, like, man, they had another match on Saturday against the LA Gorillas, and of course, everybody expected OpTic to come out and win this series. I know I just said that the LA Gorillas, you know, are debatably the worst team in the league, but OpTic is right there as some competition, man. It makes no sense. Obviously, the LA homestand on LAN, with the same roster, they ended up making out of group play, and they played really, really well, but they lost 3-1 to the Gorillas here. Again, in that series, it was a competitive map 1 on Gunrunner, but then map 2, unlike the Empire series where OpTic absolutely came out and smoked the Empire in Surge, the Gorillas absolutely smoked OpTic on Ramaza. It was a 6-1. The Gorillas have looked, you know, decent on that map throughout the year, but oh my, like what in the world was that? OpTic did bounce back and take the Dom, but then once again lost in the hard point. So man, there is something that needs to change with this roster. I mean, if you guys have watched the podcast, which by the way, of course, a new episode of the podcast coming out tomorrow night, but jkap at some point has to get the cut. I mean, come on, right? His upside with slaying power just is so low. They just really badly need another aggro SMG to pair with Tej and Kenny on that roster. Cap is just not getting the job done at the end of the day. Obviously, he can bring some of those vibes. He can have a good time. He's one of the boys. He's an Oak boy. But man, okay. I mean, like, if you're going 0-2, I know it's online. I know, I get it. But the rest of this year is going to be online, at least until COD Champs. So at some point, you've got to make a change and try to capitalize on this year. I mean, OpTic already looked like they were trying to, like, chalk it up. I mean, tweets from, like, Slasher and Tej about, like, yo, when's the next Black Ops game coming out? When's the next Treyarch game? Like, yo, this year's chalked. Like, it's bad vibes right now for OpTic. I mean, it seems like either they have to make a change or they're going to chalk up the rest of this year, because it is a bad situation right now if you're an LA OpTic fan. Then that fourth match of the event was the Subliners versus the Huntsmen. And boy, oh boy, was this a surprise, to be sure. And depending on which side you were on, it may not have been a welcome one. Obviously, the Subliners came out and 3-2'd the Huntsmen. They took them down in that first series. Their social media was talking the smack. And, you know, obviously, you're priming yourself up for a disaster later on. But this was crazy and really, really surprising. Of course, coming into this event, there were a lot of questions about the Huntsmen. I mean, with Arcitys' interview talking about how they don't know how to play the game and the struggles they've had. The Gunless Eavesdrop with Hex that came out, you know, talking about the struggles they've had with their roles and how they play this game and everything else. So there were a lot of questions coming into this event. And it started off real shaky for the Huntsmen. They got smoked in that first hardpoint, 250-135 on Gunrunner. Then they came out in the Search and Destroy, lost a round 11 on Petro.
Player to do so. Now looking at the minimap, we're trying to find one player, and Attach is just down low. Sneaky Attach finds the first. That's going to be Formal, who drops, shuts the door. No one's welcome in Attach's store right now as he goes up top. Accuracy off screen will go down, and now 4v4 miles. The pressure starting to build as Zuma finds one, Temp finds another. It's all up to Scump. Scump finds just the first, but there's 3 more to find now.
Scump with dead silence. Tagged up through middle. Now his position's been given away. Activates dead silence, and he just charges right into the heat of the battle, and that's going to be it.
And it was a really close Dom map on Gunrunner that almost put him down 3-0. Then they won a contested hardpoint on Hackney, 250-228, and then they lost on Ramaza 6-3. I mean, the Subliners, shout out to them first of all. I mean, they played a great event this time around. Of course, after they beat the Huntsmen, they went to play FaZe, and they took them to a map 5. And not only did they take them from a map 5, they 100-point clubbed Atlanta FaZe. Like, what? Who would have thought, man? Who would have thought? Look at us. Not me. Like, they beat them twice in hardpoint. They lost the SND 6-4 on Arclov. Then they lost the Dom on Hackney. And then they 100-point clubbed them on Petro. And then, unfortunately, they got smoked in the SND on Petro as well, 6-1. But, I mean, hey, the 250-84 win against Atlanta FaZe on Petro is an accomplishment in itself. They should have probably just got awarded the trophy right then, right there, because, you know, nobody's doing that to FaZe the rest of the year. I guarantee you that. And that was absolutely absurd. I don't know what happened there. We haven't really seen an explanation besides FaZe just played really, really, really bad Call of Duty. And the subliners were feeling it. I mean, in the series, we saw a ton of big-time plays from the subliners. I mean, Zuma was going off in map 1.
Behind Tim's three-piece, there they get in. The spawn still in the back for FaZe, but the pressure now here as Tim makes the play.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about, right? When we're talking about New York, Zuma finds 4.
What?
We didn't see the quiet. He finds 5. He hits all 5. We didn't see it.
No!
The observing team, they are not happy about that one, but he continues on a 10 spree right now. It was never about talent for the New York subliners.
We were gassing up Tim's three-piece, and on the other side of it, Tommy just goes on a tear. What a play there from Zuma, and that lead from FaZe dismantled.
And I mean, just overall, the respawn play from the subliners was just fantastic. And like, this is exactly what they were hoping for coming into this event with the new roster, of course, with Mac Melts as their new player, replacing Happy and replacing Zero, kind of, you know, the whole chain of replacements there. This is what they wanted to see. I mean, the hype was coming into this that the subliners were improved. The coaches were talking about that in their power rankings and in their rankings and everything else, and it definitely showed. Unfortunately for them, they had to play 2 of the best teams in the league in their 3 matches. So of course, then they go on after the loss to FaZe, they go on to rematch the Huntsmen, where the winner would advance to the semifinals. And they won the hard point right off the rip, and Huntsman fans were definitely nervous. Then they went on to Arclov. They lost 6-3, so the Huntsmen beat them 6-3. Then the Huntsmen pulled an insane comeback on Dom, which was undoubtedly the turning point in the series. So let's check that out real quick.
Pretty sure if they can win it, if they just hold the 2-cap, you got 40 seconds left, only 8 points down. They're going to chip away every 5. It's going to be close, though. Pressure on the subliners to try to make the play, get over towards the flag, and look how many players are there. It's Formal by himself around this B point. He gets dealt with the subliners. You just got to hop on it, just get that neutralization.
Temp was so disciplined, allowed his teammate to neutral it by himself as he looked to try and slay just a 4-point game as Temp knows players are going to be in front of a team kill. It's Mac that shuts him down. C is now decapped, 16 seconds on the clock, still a 4-point game. Scump now pushing over towards B. That should be neutral. Zuma wins a fight. More chaos ensues. 2-point game. How many ticks are we going to see come through? Well, New York, they don't have a hill. Chicago Huntsmen, they've stolen game 3 right from underneath the New York subliners. 158, 156. Everyone at the very end of that game from the Chicago Huntsmen clutches up big time, all winning their crucial 1v1s.
Absurd, dude. Absurd. That was absolutely nuts. Hex was like, yo, could you imagine this moment in a LAN setting, like in a Chicago homestand? It would be absolutely nuts. I could not imagine the energy in that building with 5, 6, 7,000 Huntsman fans there. Would have been so cool. Hopefully at Champs or next year, we can get that moment, because it would be just a blast, just an awesome time for competitive COD. But then, of course, they go on to play Petro Hardpoint, and the Huntsmen finally show up in a hardpoint and take them down 250-167, punching their ticket to the semifinals to play the Dallas Empire. So the semifinals matches were really interesting. We had Seattle with their 2 wins against the Grills, which is how they got here. They played Atlanta FaZe. Like I said, this was the shocker of the tournament, the round 11. Absolutely absurd. But FaZe took them down. The FaZe looked really good throughout the series. Besides, of course, the Search and Destroy. Then in the Dallas Huntsman series, Empire end up taking this 3-0. When the Empire did this, I was like, okay, wow. They very well could beat FaZe. I mean, again, FaZe had looked beatable, and Empire, with this dominant performance against the Huntsmen, they beat them 250-165 on Ramasa, then 6-2 on Gunrunner Search and Destroy, and then 165-158 on Hackney Dom. It felt like the Empire had full control of the series in every aspect, in every game mode. They were playing great Call of Duty, and that set them up for a duel against Atlanta. Obviously, if you guys have been following the scene this year, the Empire finally got their dub against the Huntsmen. Like I said at the beginning of the video, Scump knew it was coming at some point. They moved to online. It was only a matter of time before the Empire figured this thing out. And once again, in the grand finals, Empire looked like the best Call of Duty team out there. They looked amazing. So they beat FaZe 250-222, and they went to go play Petro S&D. They beat them in round 11, an absolutely insane round 11. And again, why talk about it when I can show you? Here it is.
4 versus 4. Bomb is down. Empire still have got to work this as Illy is able to scoop it up. Dead silence pop by one of the members on the side of FaZe. It's Priest.
I mean, with Simp's position, they can't rotate it, right? They cannot rotate it without him probably hearing something, so he knows it's A. So you still have 3 players here. There's going to be a freebie, but Illy gets down, and they know where majormaniak is, and Hook flies. And Hook flies,
Oh my
almost
God.
takes down Priest.
I thought he was going to gun him 3v2. The numbers now for Empire, but they still have to work the plant. Celium able to get the kill.
again.
Turns into a 2v2 for a moment, but now it's all going to be on Simp. 1 versus 2. They got to get it down. Simp trying to track across and get in position to make the play, but there's the plant. It's 1v2 for Simp. It's now 1v1 for Simp. The youngster, the vet,
They both have
former
Daddy.
teammates.
They both have Daddy popped.
Clay holds it. Clay gets the shots in. Simp gets out the window.
He still has time. 30 seconds to work with. Both Daddies are out now. Both Daddies are out. What are they going to do? Clay continues to play top. He's going to hear him. He's got it. He probably hears him. He goes down the stairs, and I think Clay may have made the play, but Simp
Gets the kill. He gets the kill. He gets the kill.
Wins the 1v1.
Oh my God, what a map 2 it was.
You know I love my round 11s around here, and that undoubtedly is one of the most intense, insane, adrenaline, heart-pumping round 11s of all time. I mean, former teammates, Simp, the youngster versus Clayster. It was awesome, man. One of my favorite moments in the COD League this whole year, if not in the past few years, just with how cool of a 1v1 that was. But at the end of the day, it did not matter for FaZe. They dropped the Dom 171 to 146 on Hackney, and then they dropped the hardpoint 250-200 in map 4 to Dallas Empire, who are your CDL Chicago champions. So again, man, Dallas Empire looked amazing. Shotzzy had so many moments this tournament where we're like, this was the Shotzzy we were waiting to see. Illy looked great. Hook looked great. Clay and Crim are always there. The stable ARs that you need on those maps, they're always there for you. Overall, they just look like the best Call of Duty team. And so it'll be really, really interesting to see how this goes down. Obviously, on LAN, they won CDL LA against the Rocker. And then, of course, in our first online tournament, the Rocker came back and beat the Empire. Now we have the Empire coming out here and beating FaZe, the team that everyone expected to win this tournament. You have to give credit where credit is due. The Empire are here, and they are probably here to stay with Rambo Ray as their coach now. The development has been there from Shotzzy and Illy, and I can't wait to see what happens in the future here. The Huntsmen, man, they've got to figure out their problems. We're going to talk a lot more about that on the podcast tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. We'll be deep diving into some more of these teams. We didn't talk too much about OpTic or LAG and all the other teams that didn't play this weekend as well, so we'll be talking about that in the podcast. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, like, comment, favorite, subscribe. We'll be talking a lot more Call of Duty this week, some learn from the pros from this weekend, and much more. So I hope you guys enjoyed that as well. But as always, guys, I'm your boy SalvationsElite, and we will see you next time. I'm out.